Welcome, 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 welcome. That's the crawl space in my attic. I think if the LPN's trying to work, I think they add new stuff. Could be, I'll go up there. So we're going to. Hello, why is it so dark?
Oh, I hope it's not dark in here because this is all I got. Oh, let me see.
I
I'm tripping with this ring light. This ring light be giving me the flux.
I gotta figure out. Oh, okay. That's a little better.
All right.
Woo.
So you have, okay. You ever do the settings for it just be us? I never heard of that before. That's why I'm just tripping like.
Oh, wow. I just did mine. Okay, that fixed that a lot. Okay. Do that right there. Perfect. All right. Ready?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Say hi, Phee.
Hi.
We are back, and we're back with Parents Just Don't Understand. Welcome to Unpacking Our Shit with Phee and K Jr. I'm K Jr.
I am Phee.
Yes.
I am Phee.
How are you doing, Phee?
Girl, no, I had to tell you after this broadcast because something just went on and within that little bit of time. Just that little bit of time. Yes. That little bit of time.
We're going to get to this, y'all, so I can get to that. No, I'm playing. I'm really interested in talking to y'all for real.
Yes, nothing on like that. But I'm just saying, like, it was a whole that went on from when I said, oh, let's do this at 1, from that time up through like 10 minutes ago. I'm like,
see how quick shit be happening?
How quick. And when I tell you, it's really trying to disrupt my mood.
But no, not today.
Yeah, now. I'm gonna tell you about it. But yep, let's talk about this. The parents don't understand. Y'all know I always gotta have my agua.
Oh, we got our drinks. Of course. Whose medicine got delivered?
You better listen. Come through. Did you already take it?
Yes.
Oh, I can see. Okay, that's the face. That's the face. Yes.
We will talk about medication in another episode, y'all. But listen, change your life. But today we're going to talk about in part 2 of our Parents Just Don't Understand series, where we talk about the parent-child dynamic in the Black community. Today we're going to be talking about mutual respect and boundaries. And boundaries is really treated like a dirty word in the Black community. It's like calling somebody a liar. You said lie.
No boundaries. Yeah. You got to have access to all things at all times.
And you know what?
What we say go. It's not at all.
So let's jump into mutual respect, okay? And the history of that. Very simple. Back in the day, mutual respect between parent and child is like, I am the parent, you are the child, you do whatever it is I say, and no questions asked.
No questions.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of accepted that because out of a lot of reasons, out of tradition, out of survival, and out of just literally not knowing any other way of life. And I think when we have these discussions about our parents, about us, and then our, relationships, with each other, when we have these types of discussions, I think it's really important to remember that they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a lot of options. They really did had to, they had to do what they had to do in order to survive. And I think in
Right.
order to really digest these conversations a lot better, I think the younger generations need to remember to keep that in mind. That we're dealing with people who are literally still steeped in their trauma because they don't know
Mm-hmm.
any other way but struggle and trauma.
Right. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, that doesn't excuse a lot of their behavior because at the end of the day, they're still adults and they're adults that know better and can do better. It's just born out of their own. See, a lot of people would say it's stubbornness on behalf of the older generation to, how they don't want to change. Some of it is stubbornness, but a lot of it is fear. And they don't want to talk about that. Your parents don't ever want to talk about being afraid because in their mind, they're the parent. They're supposed to be invincible, unshakable, unbreakable at all times.
And
You know
know
what I'm
all
saying?
things, and yeah, have all the
Right.
answers. Mm-hmm.
Have everything under control at all times. Now, I give our parents props for trying to, hold things together, for our sake. You know what I mean? To hold us down and hold it together. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we should, not give them their props for that or take that for granted.
Right. Yeah, we give them their props. Because we talked about that in previous episodes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though, you know what I'm saying, we understand why, we don't necessarily agree, but we
Right.
still got to give them the props because they did the best they could with what they had. Well, I really don't like to use that term too much either, but for the sake of,
Yeah.
not having a better term right now, they did the best they could with what they had. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And they didn't have much.
they was thinking, right, their mind was on other stuff. So,
They had to. They had to keep their mind on other stuff because if they ever got, caught slipping, they could be dead. And that's some really strenuous, constraints to be under. And I don't know what that's like to have an entire generation like that.
exactly.
That's kind of scary. So again, we get it. However, times are changing.
Mm-hmm.
Children are much more than who we want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot deeper than that. And I think that's a hard thing for the older generation to accept as well, because they have tried so hard to keep up with the Joneses or, people as far as, legacy and, making sure everything is perfect and everything is okay and all this other, shit and everything. And then trying to keep up with everybody else is part of what was fucking them up and fucking their whole parenting up, because their whole parenting style wasn't really about growing, with their children. It wasn't about getting to know their children. It wasn't about, creating decent people. It became about creating something that looks good on paper,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to a sense, to a certain degree, or just making sure that we look a certain way in public. That's a
Yeah.
real big
Always
thing.
about appearance. Oh no, it's always about appearance now. On the outside appearance.
Was your family
About
big
what it
into
look.
that?
Was my family big on what?
Into that, just make this, having the appearance of everything okay.
Uh, oh, for sure. Yes, I think I talked about it in one episode that my family, like from my grandmother. This is on my maternal side because I didn't know my paternal side of the family. Barely knew my maternal side, but that's another story. But my grandmother on down, so always dressed nice, nice clothes. Not necessarily into like labels, but always dressed very nice. Nice
Mm-hmm.
house, nice clothes. Always got her hair done. Always had new cars. So my mom was the same way. Beautiful, dressed her butt off. So it came. So it's like that I became. So I'm very like stylish. Everyone outside is nice. Always got my hair done in the hair shop. So it's like generational. That's what we do. When I started realizing like we're not working on the inside, because like I said before, my grandmother was mean, very mean spirited. But now that she's like 90 years old, it's
Mm-hmm.
weird seeing another side of her because now I think she's going through, I don't know the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, but I think she's going through early stages of that. So she's become a little bit gentler and softer. And it's really like
Yeah.
odd to see because she was in the hospital, I say like a month ago, because she had to have emergency surgery. I told you about that, about kidney stones.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she says things like, I'm so happy to see you. I'm glad to see you. Never ever said that. There's never been a I love you, I miss you, no hugs, no kisses, never. So to see her just like, thanks for coming to see me. It's good to see you. I don't even know how to take it. You said I ain't gonna say I
Mhm.
don't know how to take it because it's like I get it because she's old now. But
Right.
it's like, wow, to know that she's never, ever, 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 ever said that. So, because again, we were always
It
just worried
took heart a
about
little bit,
outside.
didn't it, though?
Right. It's like, oh my God, listen to this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The
But,
progress.
right, right. And again, it goes back to, how she was how she was brought up. Again, it was only about, she was the only daughter, the only girl of, she had like three or four brothers. So she
Mm-hmm.
was raised by all boys and her dad.
Yeah.
Her mom died when she was 2. She was raised by all boys, so she had this really tough exterior. So then, of course, that trickled into how she raised my mom and how my mom raised me. So everybody had this like tough exterior when we really punks in real life. So yeah, it is about the outward, what
Mm-hmm.
you look on the outside. Nobody worked on the innards. And this is
No,
what
we
we're doing
didn't.
now. We're working on the innards because in addition to that, when we're talking about boundaries and all of that, because what we also do is we carry on what the generations before us do. So like for instance, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Or the famous one that comes like immediately to my head is don't close no doors around this house.
Yo, oh, you could never have a closed door or anything
Why you can't close the door?
male
Because
like
of
privacy.
why can't I close the door? Why can't I let my daughter close the door?
It's control, and they want to,
Because you think something gonna go on behind them doors because stuff go
yes,
on behind closed doors because you did stuff behind closed. Not everybody's doing stuff, but guess what? People are entitled to their privacy,
yes, they are, and
even as a
children are
kid.
included in that.
Yes, so that's why I've never adopted those little mantras. Don't close no doors in here. Open this door. I don't unless I really feel like you in there doing something harmful or you know what I'm saying. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna have you keep your door open. I'm not about to screw the bolts off the hinge, take the hinges off the door. I'm just
Yeah,
not going to do that. But yeah,
yep,
so I know, especially I don't even know if it's like that in white families, but I know in black families you can't close no doors. So you gotta get dressing
right,
doors open. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, watch TV with your door open. Late, you can't even be naked in your room if you want to, but you can't. It's no privacy. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But see,
that's
that
boundaries.
makes you weird about privacy when you get older. It makes you more secretive as a teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've literally had that experience where I came home one day and my parents had literally raided under my bed and gone through all my stuff and my diary, read my diary, all kinds of shit, and
Wow.
they confronted me with a lot of the stuff that they found in it, and one of them was revealing that I had been abused and that I had finally told a friend of mine that had happened,
Oh wow.
and that's how they found out. I was 13. I'll never forget that, and that's how they found out. I'll never forget that day, and I felt so violated again
Yeah.
because it's like even at the end, even after you guys know about all this, nobody's gonna do anything about it but yell at me and tell me how it was partly my fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And
So
how you had to get to the point to know that it wasn't your fault after a gazillion years later realizing that. Do you know what I mean?
that
But the
destroys
hurt.
trust. I didn't
Right.
trust my parents a lot after that. I didn't trust them to go to them and talk to them. I didn't trust them to let them know something was going wrong because I knew it was just going to be how much of a fucking idiot I am and how stupid I was and just irresponsible and dumb, and it's just like, okay, well, you know I'm not going to feel comfortable coming to somebody who's just going to call me dumb, you
Right.
know and that that took a lot to acknowledge that shit, that wasn't okay,
Right.
and that I never wanted to violate my kids' trust like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I would never want to do that. I think that's
Because that's
so awful.
painful. It's so it's so invasive, right? And I never understood that, because it's like, yes, they're little humans, but they still have rights, they still have feelings, they still,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So I never understood that. See, but luckily my mom didn't, she didn't do that. She wasn't the type like, open this door, keep this door open. But she was just so far removed and unavailable in other ways, you know what I mean? So that could have contributed
Mm-hmm.
as to why. But I just knew that um like I started writing in my journal when I was 14 years old. And I actually have all of my journals from 19 years old up until now.
Wow.
But I took a speed writing class intentionally so that I can write my journals cryptically, so nobody could read them, because I feared that same thing. Like,
Yep.
oh,
I know
I
a lot of
never
people
shared
did
my.
that.
Yeah, so the majority of my journals from 95 up until like 2002 or 2003 are all in shorthand. So you actually have to decode it, decipher, or whatever. But
Exactly.
then
That's smart though.
I got tired of that.
That's smart.
Listen, I did think
I
so
should have did that
initially.
shit. I should have did
Initially, I
that.
thought it was a good idea, but as I got started, was like 2003, I was just like, you know what, when I leave here, and I want my kids to know exactly what I was going through. I don't want anything to be like a secret. Do you see what I'm saying? Because there's
Right.
so many
No
damn
more.
secrets in
No
the
more
world.
secrets. I'm too
Right. So
tired.
that's why I stopped writing like in that way. And I wish now, in the hindsight, I'm wishing I had a continued, because with the recent episode of my ex reading my journals, it was like, had I been in speed writing, he would not have been able to interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, fuck it, whatever. No, I'm tired of doing shit secretly. But it's like, that still doesn't get anybody right to read your shit. So
It
kids
doesn't.
included. I don't
It really,
violate.
really
I
doesn't.
won't do that.
That's violating on a whole nother level. And then the fucked up part about it is we get trained to think that type of violation is so normal and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the trauma and abuse that we go through, we've been trained to just accept as normal. So
Hmm.
we don't question it. And now we have these generations they're questioning everything.
Right.
And they're asking really fucking good questions. And the answer to a lot of these questions is to stop doing the shit that we used to be doing. Like, we can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I
Right.
remember um that whole force physical contact when you're a kid, like when they make you go hug some uncle or cousin or something so and
Yeah.
so, or they make you
Hmm.
get kisses and stuff like that. It's like, ew,
No.
no.
You don't make right. Yes. We
Especially
talked
when
about
you
that.
know you have a family predator. Don't do that shit because you're re-traumatizing people. I will never
Exactly.
forget having to be made to hug and give affection to my predator. I will never forget that shit. That shit was
Right.
such a mind fuck to have to deal with, to have to give affection to somebody who is hurting you,
Yes.
and then you can't say shit. And that's the most fucked up thing about it because it's
I
all
can't
gonna
even
fall
imagine.
on you.
I can't even imagine.
It's all going to fall on the child. They put so much pressure and shame and guilt on children. And then they wonder why, as adults, they are aggressive or hostile or very defensive and shit like that. It's because they've really been made to accept so many different lies, not only about situations, but about
Exactly.
themselves.
Right. It's all because it's all about appearance. You want this child to be like a good, quote unquote, good kid. So you want them
Mm-hmm.
to be mannerable and respectful.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, give your aunt a hug, give your auntie a kiss on the cheek. It's just like, I don't make my daughter do anything. I do make her speak when she goes into places.
Right.
Speak, acknowledge wherever you go into. If you're walking into any establishment, you speak.
Right.
But I definitely do not force her to hug anybody.
If she don't want to
I
hug
don't
you, but
care.
she, she's not in the mood today.
No.
Back up.
Nope. Nope. And nope. But that is hard to, again, set that boundary when you got everyone else who's doing it. Because since I'm co-parenting with my ex-husband, it's a lot of things that he'll call me and say, well, he doesn't appreciate something. I don't like that Rika is doing this, and I'm totally it's like like a scale, and we're on opposite ends
Mm-hmm.
of the spectrum. She comes over and she doesn't want to interact with people. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. She, do you know what I mean?
Teenager.
And so, teenager, and he's like, I'm tired of that being an excuse, and such, and kids need to do this. And I'm sitting there like, but she doesn't
And
have to.
see, that kids
See,
need to, and it's
see,
like
that's what
they
I'm
really
saying.
don't.
It's real. I said she doesn't. She doesn't have to. She comes over here.
They
Everybody
don't
talk about
like
how she's so
that.
quiet and how she. I said, what's wrong with her being? She's quiet. Even she's
Is she
introverted. There are
quiet or
some
she
things I
selective?
will, and that's right. She's selective. So I'm saying to myself, yeah, there are things where there are times when I do have her like exert her use her voice. 'Cause I do want her to use her voice because I'm big on using voices because I do see that she is somewhat introverted. But I'm not going to
Right.
just throw her in the deep end of the water and just
Or
say
yeah.
learn how to, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain, again, the boundaries when I can decipher when she's being like withdrawn for one reason as opposed to another. But I'm not going to force her either way. It's just that I'm going to have a conversation with her. But yeah, we constantly go back and forth, her dad and I, because he feels like she should talk when they go to family functions. Everyone is always asking why she's so quiet. Why is she always on her cell phone? Why does she always wear hoodies? Where does she, little stuff. I'm just like, are we having this conversation? Like, just let her be her own person. Just have a conversation with her. She'll talk to you, but she doesn't have to be the center of attention or be in the conversation. Like, she doesn't have to talk. Long as she can speak. Did she speak? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
See, they never
they
had
don't,
those freedoms to type up, to
yeah,
express themselves like, with, I don't want to socialize right now. I don't want to really talk. I don't have a lot to
right.
talk about right now. They were
It's
never given those freedoms. So
exactly
they don't know how to handle that when they have children that do have those freedoms, or are even just aware that they have those freedoms now. You know what I'm
aware.
saying?
That's the thing. That's the awareness part of it. And they're able to express that. Like you said,
Yeah.
that's the type of relationship I have with my daughter. She'll come to me just like, I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. I just don't feel like talking. And it's like, okay, so nothing is wrong, but we automatically assume something is wrong because you're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that whole thing. Yes, have that type of communication with your child
Mm-hmm.
because again, she has feelings. Well, they have feelings. But
They
yeah, we
do.
could go on. But the stuff that we make kids do, well,
Right.
our
The
people
things we
made
make
us
them
do.
stifle. You know what I'm saying? The things that they stifle so much creativity. They fucking stifle joy. You know that? That's so fucking weird. How
They
they
stifle
stifle
joy.
they stifle joy because they didn't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They fuck up so many things just because off the strength of they didn't have that. So you get to be fucked up too. If I had to deal with
exactly.
that, you can deal with that
Yeah,
too. So it's just like, that's not okay. Just because you had to deal with that does not mean that we have to deal with that anymore. And that's
right.
what they have to really reconcile, is that we don't have to go through the same things that they went through. And the thing is, it's like, okay, that we don't have to go through the same things that they went through. So, but that's what they wanted. They would always say, we don't want y'all to go through the same stuff that we did.
Gotcha.
And now
But
that we're
I
not,
don't know if they
and now that
recognize that though. I wonder if they
they get
recognize that.
pissed. They get angry with us. Like, we're being disrespectful and all this other shit. It's like, no, it's just, you have to respect us as adults now. I'm sorry you didn't have that type of relationship with your parents, but this is the type of relationship that I need and I want now. And as an adult, it's okay to say that. It's okay to place those types of boundaries. You can't talk to me some type of way, any type of way. You can't, do this or do that. You have
Right.
no control anymore. And that's what a lot of parents really need to let go of, is that sense of control. You don't have control over this anymore. You have to respect this person as an adult now. We have to shake this whole notion where just because somebody is younger that they owe you some type of extra respect. I mean, respect
Mm-hmm.
as, somebody who's older, sure, but not respect enough to where this older person can talk to you like shit because you're
Any kind of
25
way.
and they're
Yeah.
40. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that doesn't fly either.
Definitely.
Because, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because 25, that is hardly a child. So why are you talking to this person? Or even if they're 20 or 21, like, why are you still talking to them like they're a child? These people are paying bills. They're going to school, and a lot of them are paying for their own fucking school. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you
Right.
can't talk to them like they're some little 12-year-old, because they're not out here doing 12-year-old shit. And a lot of them have families of their own now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Absolutely.
you can't do that. You can't offer that type of disrespect and then expect respect in return. And that's what a lot of
Right. Right.
elders
Right.
do. They automatically expect a lot of this respect to come just because. And because not all of our elders deserve respect. Some of our elders are fucked up. Some of the elders are the reason why we're so fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, and goodbye. Yes.
And but see that right there, respect is born out of accountability. It is so much easier to talk to somebody or respect somebody when they're accountable, especially in a situation between a parent and child, because I've experienced that myself. You know what I'm saying? My kids have a lot more respect for me because I'm honest with them and because I take accountability for all the ways that I fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. Just like we didn't ask to be here.
Exactly.
You know, then we get that whole, our parents love to give us, I fed you, I clothed you. Yes, all the basics you had to do, otherwise you go to prison.
Exactly.
So it's just like,
hello and goodbye.
We can't have the bare minimum as the top bar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The bare minimum can't set the bar. You can't set the bar with bare minimum. That just doesn't work.
Can't set the bar at the bare minimum.
Because when you do that, you breed that type of, attitude of you owe me. And a lot of Black parents do have that attitude of you owe me. But it's like, what exactly do they owe you?
That part.
And I have to ask myself to my kids, what exactly do they owe me? Nothing really, except maybe some love. You know what I'm saying?
But you have to know. You have to know love and receive love and give love.
And again, I get it. They had it really fucking rough. I get it. Totally get it. However, we are in a time and space now where we can fix that together. And that's the part they really don't understand. It's like, we can heal. We can all heal together because that'll create better relationships. We'll be healthier people. Because you know how much build-up strife that's going to, release once, you know what I'm saying? Once you have that, those deeper conversations with your children, there's more love, it's stronger family ties. You develop a deeper bond with your children. You know what I'm saying? And you get to know each other better. That's the most fun part about all of this is when you do raise these children, it's just like there's this whole other person you get to know. You know what I'm saying? And your kids are some really cool people because they're fucking half of you, first of all. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to sit there and talk to like a different version of yourself. It's like talking to a different version of yourself with all of the love and emotional intelligence you wish you had when you were younger. So it's like you're looking at a better version of yourself.
Yep, I love it.
That's what you're supposed to do as parents. They're supposed to be a better version of yourself, not just like you, because our kids are not going to be just like us, and we can't make them. And that's another thing. We can't make them be who we want them to be, because that's really selfish as fuck.
Right. But
all we can do is just love them and support them for who they are now. That breeds so much better people. When you meet a person who has been loved in that way by their parents, who has been accepted and loved unconditionally, there's a different type of confidence in that person. There's a different type of self-awareness in that person. And you can tell.
It's the self-awareness part. Yes, you can.
And some people don't know how to handle that either. And I understand being on the other end of that, of seeing somebody who was accepted completely and wholly and, unconditionally and, unquestioned, you know what I'm saying? And I would be kind of envious of that. Like, damn, I want that. I want to not feel like if I mess up, I have less love and respect for my parents. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So we just have to present that to our kids. We have to, show it for our kids.
We have to extend a lot to our kids. And again, we can all do this together, but we don't have to accept that type of abuse or behavior anymore from our parents. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from all this is that we don't have to accept that anymore. We're no longer in a position where we feel obligated to take care of people who really weren't that great to us, or to take care of people who as adults treated like with such disrespect. Like, we're not held to that anymore. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
So it's like, you do have to watch the way you treat us. Yeah, you do gotta have to watch the way you talk to us, because you wouldn't accept it either.
That part.
And when you can't do for yourself, what the fuck you about to do?
Hello. So on that note,
you got a plan. It doesn't have to be that way, but again, we're adults. We got to
We
draw
are.
the line somewhere about what behavior we will accept and what behavior we won't accept.
And guess what
And then
drawing
make
the
that
line
decision.
is? Guess what drawing the
You
line
can
is?
still love
It's a
somebody.
boundary. Drawing a line is a boundary.
You can love
Yep.
somebody on the other side of that boundary, but they can't come across that boundary till they respect you.
Yep. Yep.
And I think when we come to that understanding from that as parents and children, even adult children, even, you know what I mean? If we get that together, we can start to do, again, what I say all the time. If we heal together, it all comes together a lot quicker and a lot easier and with a lot more love.
Yep. The key is you gotta want to. You gotta want to. You got to be able to see that you need to. Because the thing is, some people don't. I don't know if they're not admit it to themselves, or some people really believe that they don't need to heal, or as they feel like if they admit it to themselves, then they know that they got to do the work necessary. It's that whole like you know better, do better. Because when you know better, if you still doing the same old bullshit, it kind of makes you feel bad, because you know that you should be doing better. You know what I mean? So I always wondered that, just like, because there's some people that clearly need to heal, and they'll just flat out be like, "No, I'm good." I'm just like, "Oh man, beloved," in my Yana voice. But yeah, I just really want, if you got to really want to heal and know that there are huge benefits to healing in order to get to where we all need to be collectively.
And that's true, but we also can't pause our healing waiting for them to figure out.
We ain't pausing nothing. We ain't pausing. No, nope. This train still moving. If you still sitting over there saying you don't need to heal, okay, I might circle back around.
It's like you
but I'm
welcome,
still.
But there's rules, just like there's rules when we step into your house. There's rules when you step into our boundaries. And when everybody respects that and can heal, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. That makes me a little bit emotional thinking about how amazing that could be, where we all just can, kind of heal together. Oh my gosh, that would be so great.
Yeah, but it starts with looking at yourself. You have to really look at yourself and say, I got some damn work to do. I don't like this shit right here. This don't feel good. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of going through that. What should I do to get? Because that's where it all starts, like for real.
Once they figure out that they have the love and support from us that we do, because we do love them, we do appreciate them. Once they understand that, yes, even if you admit that you're wrong, we still have all this love for you, but we just need you to get over that fucking hump. I think when they understand that their honesty will lead to a lot of forgiveness, I think they'll be more comfortable, because they think that we hate them. We don't hate them. We just tired of their shit.
Pretty much. So yeah, that's your ministry. That ain't mine. We talked about that. That's your ministry. But yes. So yes, y'all, that's what we need to do to set some boundaries and to get this healing work.
Have some patience for your parents.
Have patience for your parents.
Have some patience.
I have patience with my parents, yeah.
But don't have so much patience to your own detriment. Keep the boundaries in line, but be patient with them and let them figure their shit out. And just
absolutely
be open to at least talking to them when they get their shit together.
So yeah, this is why parents just don't understand part 2 and how we can help them understand.
Like children. That's awful. Oh, we need spankings.
Right. Right.
But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate y'all for coming. We got some new stuff on the board on the way. Keep posted. We'll let y'all know. And we'll see y'all next time. Next series. All right?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.